Are you ready for your new favorite skirt? Hi, I'm Delphine. I'm the creator behind Just Patterns, where I release sewing patterns inspired by trends and high-end ready-to-wear. And today, I want to share with you my latest pattern, the Devon Skirt. The Devon Skirt started 2 years ago when I wanted to wear a midi white poplin skirt with gathers at the waist. And I really wanted something really effortless, but that could look kind of elevated and dressed up, but be worn on really any occasion in bright white poplin. And I did something really quickly. I found fabric that was not too see-through, and I improvised a rectangle with an elastic waist, and the result was just not like it. I shared it on my Instagram. I think you can see the video here. I could wear it. It was, okay, but it was definitely not the dream skirt that I had in mind. So it's still in my closet, and I think it's going to be time for it to be donated. But this year, I was thinking about skirts and what I wanted to wear, and I thought that it was really time to revisit that idea and take the time to sit down and really think through all the details that I wanted and the feeling that I wanted to get when I wear it. So that's how Devon was born. The result is a skirt that has both pleats, inverted box pleats, 8 in the front and 8 in the back, and an elasticated waist that is top stitched to look neat. It has deep front pockets, slant pockets, or Italian pockets. In French, we call them poche all'italienne, and I just learned that in Italian, they actually call them French pockets, so I thought that was pretty funny. And it also has a really deep hem that gives weight to the bottom of the skirt, and it helps it swoosh and just makes it a little bit more elevated. The pattern pieces come in 3 formats, like all of my patterns. It's a printed home that works for A4 or US letter, so you can tape the pages together. It has an A0 file and it has projector. For the A0 file that you can bring to a copy shop, what we have done to avoid for you to have 2 pages to print is that we overlap the pocket piece on top of the skirt. So you can either trace it or you can use the printed home file to print just 4 pages in order to have a separate pocket piece. The pattern is drafted for size 34 to 60, and you can find what this means in terms of body measurements in the description. If you are one full size smaller, at least one full size smaller than my size 34 or one full size larger than size 60, I grade to you at no cost. You just need to send me a little message or an email to know what my turnaround time is at the moment. For this pattern, I recommend woven fabric with a little bit of structure so that the pleats lay really nicely. You want to stay away from very drapey or stretchy fabric so that it really keeps its shape and moves the way it's intended to. Of course, if you want something flowy, nobody's stopping you from using viscose or silk, but just know that the result will look a little bit different than what you see in the pattern pictures. Let's have a look at these samples. First one is this textured striped cotton that I found in the home decor section of my local fabric store. And I really love the way that the stripes looked. And one thing that I suggest you do when sewing the Devon skirt in a stripe is to use the cross grain for your waistband, as it will create a nice little extra visual interest to have the stripes going in a different direction. The downside of using home decor is that the fabric is a little bit thicker than what I would find normally in the clothing section. So for the waistband, it's maybe a little bit thicker than what you would hope, especially in that seam that joins the skirt and the waistband. But honestly, I'm okay with it, and I just love the way it looks. Here we have our pockets that are, of course, understitched so that they stay nicely on the inside. And if I turn it inside out, I can show you the seam finish here with the serge seam allowances. It still looks extremely neat. The instructions contain 3 ways for you to handle your seam finishes. It has overlocked seams, it has French seams or bias binding, and it's really an opportunity also for you to go the extra mile when sewing what is a relatively simple skirt, or if you are a beginner and you are trying to improve a little bit your sewing skills and improve your seam finishes, to try something different. The next sample is this gorgeous yellow cotton gingham. I used it for the photo shoot, but it's actually not my skirt. I stole it temporarily from Vicky, my sample maker. She used this super beautiful, soft cotton, and the yellow is just so bright and luminous. I really wanted to pair it with white tops, and I'm really jealous and I want to find this fabric somewhere. But unfortunately it was from a dead stock place. One thing that I wanted to show you that Vicky did on her sample, and that can be of interest to you if you want a little bit more control in the way that the pleats are behaving and in the volumes, is to stitch the beginning of the pleats closed, and so they are stitched on maybe 2 inches, 5 centimeters. I know a lot of people prefer for the pleats not to open too close to the waistband, so that's a really nice idea that you can implement in your own skirt. The last one I want to show you is this cotton chambray that is also going to be a great staple in my closet. We have our deep pockets, our deep hem, but the seam finish that I used for this one was with bias binding. Actually, I don't use bias binding most of the time. I use rayon seam binding because it's a little bit faster for me to apply, and it also makes sure that there is no bulk anywhere. But if you use a contrasting bias binding or seam binding, I find it a really nice addition, and it really creates that elevated inside look that I will never get tired of. I did add my tag, but I didn't think it through in terms of when I applied it. So unfortunately, I applied it before I top stitched my waistband, and here is the result. For this particular sample, I actually filmed myself as I was sewing this one because I really wanted to demonstrate how you can sew a little bit faster while achieving nice insides results. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I really look forward to hearing your thoughts on this one. One thing that I really love about the Devon skirt is that for me, it goes with everything in my wardrobe, and it goes with a lot of my patterns. It really goes perfectly well with the Freja Vest. I just love this elegant, elevated look and the silhouette of the vest that kind of keeps it control up to the hip level, lower hip, and then you have the skirts that flares and moves. You can wear them with low kitten heels. It looks really elegant, but also flat shoes. I also paired the samples with the Kate tee that I released last year, and it looks really nice and breezy. You can tuck it in, you can leave it out. Another option is the Tyra tee, where you can kind of play the contrast between the boxiness and the athleisure feeling of the top and the breezy, very feminine edge of the big skirt in the bottom. Another option that I love is with the Veronica Vest. I find it super cute, and I think that it could even be a wedding guest outfit if you were sewing it as a set in the same fabric for the vest and for the skirt. It would look amazing. But actually, my favorite pairing is with the Giselle shirt, and it's probably in a way that I would have never wore it if you'd had asked me maybe 2 or 3 years ago to pair this shirt with this skirt. What I would have done would have been to tuck it in, put some heels, maybe a belt, and I still do that, and it's a look that I really enjoy. But one way that I've been wearing it this spring is to actually leave the shirt out and unbutton the bottom, tighten the waist, because in the pictures I'm wearing view B, so I'm using the back waist tie to cinch the waist a little bit so that it's not completely shapeless. And I just love the relaxed vibe, you know? It's such a nice look to go around. And if I want to be a little bit more dressed up for dinner, let's say after a day of walking around the city or going to the beach, I will just tuck my shirt in. And that's it. I'm ready for something a little bit fancier. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. I hope I inspired you to sew the Devon skirt. Subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss the sew along I'm gonna be publishing in the coming days, where I'm gonna be sharing my tips on how to sew faster. And you can let me know in the comments which of the styling options you like the most.